Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Ben Shapiro's about to destroy capitalism, and he doesn't even know it.
Let's talk about taxes for a second. So conservatives agree or say all the time that the golden era of America was the 1950s and 1960s. Well, there's a lot of truth to that. Our economy was booming at the time, and we became the #1 economy in the world at that time. The tax rate for the highest bracket fluctuated between 70 and 91%. So that is when we were at our best.
Yes. Back in the day, when a factory worker could support his family, when a family could survive on only one income, when pensions didn't disappear because of corporate restructuring. As some people would say, back when America was great. And now watch Ben Shapiro. He's about to destroy capitalism.
And when you talk about top marginal tax rates in the 1950s, there are a couple things that are worth noting. One, that was top individual marginal tax rates, not necessarily the business tax rate. We now have some of the highest corporate tax rates altogether in the industrialized world. And if you would prefer for us to destroy half of the world before we become the only country that didn't have its industrial capacity destroyed, which is what happened in the 1940s, leading to us being the only productive country on planet Earth, essentially, for the next 2 decades, I'm not with you there. I'm not really in favor of having a giant world war that destroys all industrial capacity across the West, so that we're the only people who actually have the capacity to produce anything and just markets that we can provide to.
Boom. Right there. Ben Shapiro just destroyed capitalism. And the irony, of course, is that he doesn't even realize it. I mean, think about it for a second. With improving technology, things are supposed to get easier and cheaper, right? So why are houses so much more expensive? Why is it harder to afford health care? Why is it harder to, even feed a family? Now you need 2 incomes to provide for a family. So, and as Ben Shapiro says, back then the whole world had been destroyed, and that's why it was easier for Americans. But that doesn't make sense if you think that capitalism is a good system. I mean, if it really is a tide that lifts all boats, why is it that other countries have to do badly in order for America to do well? Why is it that in order for America's boats to do well, you have to metaphorically sink the other guys' boats? I mean, that doesn't make very much sense, does it? So anyway, that's how Ben Shapiro destroyed capitalism. I'd like to end this video with some final thoughts. Basically, I'm not a communist, I'm not a capitalist. If I had to describe myself, I'd say I'm a mixed economist. So there are some things that should not be for profit. For example, the police department, the fire department, judges, courtrooms. A lot of things should not be for profit. What else? It's important to remember, the government created the internet, they put a man on the moon, they broke the sound barrier, and a lot of, scientific discoveries are government funded. So, but that doesn't mean I want the government to do everything. For example, I don't want, ridiculous, burdensome regulations, but I do want regulations that make sense. And if I had to describe my philosophy in one word, I would say that word is evidence. You look at the past, you look at what's working now, what's worked in the past, what works with other countries, what doesn't work. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So anyway, thank you for watching and have a good day.